Okay, guys, today we are going to create a workflow inspired by our favorite TV show here at Workflows, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So the workflow we're going to create is one for Jake submitting his paperwork, as he does terribly throughout the first few episodes of the series. To do that, what we're going to do is we're first going to go into Library, which is on the left-hand panel when you enter the main part of the application. You can see here that we have two workflows, one which is published and is ready to execute, and one which is in its draft state. Now, to create a workflow, all you need to do is go into New Workflows. You can then choose an existing template or create a new workflow. If you create a new workflow, all you need to do is add a name and set your privacy settings. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to go back and we're going to play with something we prepared earlier. So let's go in here. So this is what we call the Workflows editor. So this is where you can actually create your workflows. On the left-hand side, you can see all the bots that we have available on Workflows. Not many yet. You'll see thousands of these coming up shortly. And in the middle here, you can see the actual workflow. So you can see here that we have the paperwork that Jake is going to submit. We have a review done by Amy, because we all know that Jake screws up his paperwork every single time. We're going to also have a review by Sarge. Great episode. Just remember back to that one. Then we're going to send the paperwork to the CAP. And if the CAP is happy with the paperwork, then we should give a point to Jake so he can win the bet. Otherwise, we should give a point to Amy so she can win. Now let's add a bot. Now, to add a bot, you can do it in two ways. You can either double click on the left side here, or you can just drag it in to a position that you want. And you'll notice that whenever you add a bot, things go red. Things go red when there are errors in the workflow, right? So these are things that will prevent the workflow from being published. And our goal is to publish a workflow so we can use it, right? So what we need to now do is, well, let's look at the errors. So what this bot is saying is that bots in a workflow need to be linked together. To link this bot, we need to click Link Bots. So this goes to a fundamental way that Workflows works. The way that Workflows works is that it starts from the initiate, so you start a workflow. It then executes the first bot. Once that bot is finished, it executes the second, and sequentially goes through the process, right? So what we can see here is that we've linked up the first few bots, but the compiler is detecting that we haven't linked up the rest of the bots. So let's start by linking our bots together. Linking bots is super simple. You click on the first bot you want to start with, and click on when you want to end where you want to end the arrow. Click, and so on. So you can repeat that process. Okay, great. So we've got rid of a bunch of errors already. We only have one error that we need to fix now, which is this logic bot. It says the logic bot has customization requirements. Before we do that, let's change the name of this bot into something useful. Right? So who gets the point? So what this logic bot is going to do is figure out who gets the point, and if something points towards Jake getting the point, we'll go down this path. Otherwise, we'll go down that path and give a task that way. So let's click on the customization button, and looks super shit. Sorry guys, we haven't styled the screen yet, but what you'll notice is soon we'll have styling of the screen. Promise it'll look a lot better. But the way the logic bot works is like a switch. So you have a default path that you go down. So the default path that we're saying here is it will go down and add a point to Jake. But in case one, what we're saying is it'll go and add a point to Amy. But let's create a rule. And the way that we create a rule in Workflows is based on previous data. So if we look at this form, and this is a form bot that I created earlier, you'll notice that and again, looks terrible, but I'm collecting two fields. And to add a field, all I had to do is press that add field button. I've added two fields. One, which is the paperwork that Jake's going to submit, which is a file. And secondly, it's a question, who gets the point? And I've created a radio button field by just pressing on the radio button here. And I have two options. Now I can access that data in a subsequent bot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to peg this rule based on whatever the answer for that is. So if who gets the point is equal to Amy, then we'll go down that path. Otherwise, we'll go down the other path. So now we know that Amy will get the point if she's supposed to get the point. Otherwise, Jake will get the point if he's supposed to get the point. We have a task that we're going to send to the detectives to get a review by Amy. We're going to send another task to Sarge to get a review. Then we're going to send a notification to the captain. Let's just have a look at what this notification says. It says, hey Cap, here's the paperwork that you're looking for, love Jake. We actually haven't added the paperwork, so let's add that as an attachment, and great reference. Let's call him Meet Morp. So hey Meet Morp, here's the paperwork that you're looking for. Let's even say who's supposed to get the point, right? Who's the point? And let's add that as a variable. So now you can see here that the compiler is saying that the workflow is completely compilable. So if we press publish, we should be able to publish that workflow. Are we sure? Yes, we are. And that's it. That's how you create a workflow.